Hello, this is Lady Marilyn now with day two of A Day in a Writer's Life. The previous video recordings I accidentally deleted in order to make room for more on my phone. And yes, this is recorded on my phone, which is why the camera angle is a little bit weird. And to be honest, I took a little break from writing and I was trying to get myself situated for a while, and I thought that reading might give me some peace, so I decided to read some of the books I had in my TBR, which means to be read. I do have a pile and an enormous amount of books, so I decided to start reading a chapter a day. But with Lord of the Rings, it's kind of hard to read a chapter a day. So what I do is I just read a section where there's double spaces in the text. I just read a couple sections of that, and then I just and if I want to, I read a little bit more and just continue on from there. But usually with shorter books, I try to read a chapter a day, and it usually works for me. That way I'm not so overwhelmed to read a book a day, and it just helps me progress through the books. And this book is something that I'm trying to get fluent in, and it's the American Sign Language. You can see me just doing some of the motions with one-handed and just putting my book down to do the dual to do the ones that have that need two hands to do it. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little hard to memorize these motions, and it's a little bit, and it just takes a lot of practice. And I've read through it several times, and I've taken a break sometimes. And actually, the book that I'm reading right now that you see here is The Two Princesses of Bemare. I am sorry if I butchered that name, but it's one of my favorite books that I read in high school. And yeah, that just shows how old I am. Well, essentially what the story is that one princess is really sick, and the other princess has to go on this adventure in order to cure her sister that is sick. And so I don't want to give anything away, but I really love this book. It's not in any way it's, I guess nowadays it would be considered a clean fantasy. And it's just a really great book to read. I highly recommend it. The book I'm reading right now is mostly for my acting job that I was reading, because it was just a segment of a monologue that I was reading in order to prepare myself to actually create a video of it. And I might do that on this YouTube channel, but it might not be. But the book I'm currently reading that you see right now is called A Concise History of Romania. And I'm using this book to try to get a sense of the history of Romania, because the country is essentially it's kind of in my book and it's kind of not at the same time. But there is a country that is based off of Romania in the there is a country that is based off of Romania and has a little bit of Indian I don't want to say Indian culture, more like an Indian clothes, I guess you could say. And some of their I don't want to offend anyone, but their aesthetic, I guess. And the book that you see that I'm having a little bit of trouble holding is called The Shepherds of Bethlehem. and it's a book that I got off of Lamplighter, and I love their books, and it's a catalog that I highly recommend if you want to have like some Christian influence in your books. And they do have like books for boys, girls, and toddlers, and some. And I really enjoy their collection of books. I have the entire series that this book is based off of, and it's and I really do recommend these books off of the Lamplighter catalog. And I don't know if they have a website, but I do know they have a catalog that around Christmas my family always gets. And I have gotten The Basket of Flowers by Christoph von Schmid, and I have read that several times, and I highly recommend it for people for no novel. It I highly recommend it for for ladies that that are actually wanting to get into like I guess Christian fiction or Christian fantasy, but it's a the books that they get off of there is really good. And this book that I'm kind of having trouble handling is another book that I haven't completely read, but I do know it's one of my favorites in high school because I did read a little bit of it, but when I got back, when I returned it, I wanted to come back and read it. It wasn't there in my high school library. Yeah, so this is also an old book, but from what I've read of it, it's a pretty good story, and it has like Indian culture in it, and I really do enjoy like books that have culture and a lot and different cultures. So, essentially, it's called The Tiger's Curse, and the book is essentially about a young girl who finds herself helping a tiger go back to his country to help him out. And I don't want to give anything away, but that is essentially how it starts. And I did enjoy the section or the few chapters that I read off of this book when I was in high school. There are also multiple of other books that I read in high school, like Mars is a manga that I really enjoy. I am so sorry, my voice is dying on me, but Mars is a manga that I really enjoyed in school because it was about like a motorcycle racer who kind of develops a friendship with. I am so sorry, my voice is dying right now. The girl that he befriends is essentially an artist doesn't who's in high school, and she doesn't like stand out in a way. And I think over time, and this is just hypothetical, but over time she develops like a friendship with the motorcycle racer. And I really did enjoy that because it just reminds me of kind of how I am, because I'm not really much of an artist. I'm more of a reader. And it just, I don't know. I was kind of a loner mostly in high school, but it was just nice to see that in a manga. And as you can see here, I have a tendency to fidget around sometimes because I can't really stay still, and I don't know why. It just gives me more peace because it just gives me, I don't know, it just gives me more peace of mind as to. And I think what I was doing here is that I was trying to calm. At this time, I think I was just letting my mind wander with TikTok and mostly YouTube, because another another person I like watching is Darling Desi, and she mostly does like cottage core stuff, like, and I really do like that fashion, and I do love that aesthetic too. And essentially, it gives me more peace and it's more relaxing for some reason. I don't know why. And while cinema therapy gives me, I am sorry. While cinema therapy gives me knowledge about like mental disorders and how to be more empathetic towards people. Although I've been, this is kind of hard to explain, but I don't know why this is, but it could be because of how I was raised, and that I was raised to love everyone, but sometimes it's hard and sometimes it's easy, and I just I don't know, for some reason I have a very empathetic nature, and I can sympathize with some people, but I mostly empathize with people. Even though, well, I mostly empathize with people. I am sorry if that just came out like really, really strange. And what I try to do is I try to give people like a sense of safety when they're with me. And oh, and I completely forgot that whenever you're writing, you should actually make time to actually just relax and enjoy yourself. Because if you get too caught up in writing and if you overwork yourself, it's not gonna do anyone much good. So just remember to take breaks, and just remember to pace yourself if you need to. And if you get overworked, just stop and just take like a day or a week. It doesn't really matter how much time you get, just as long as you find some place to actually center yourself. And as I've said, this is a little hard for me to do, because as I've said in the previous video, it's a little hard for me to actually talk for so long. But I do know that it will take, as I've said before, it will take time for me to actually get used to this. And the book that I grabbed is essentially a dictionary, because as much as I love writing, I do know that there are some words that I don't know and don't understand. So the dictionary, while I do have Google and all that, I just find it's a little bit more. I don't know, but I don't know. For me, it's more. It feels. It's kind of hard to explain. It feels more. It feels better to look it up in a dictionary than just look it up on Google sometimes. But if you have Google, then just use it. Just have a dictionary or a thesaurus near you. That way. My voice is dying again. I am sorry. But with a dictionary, the one that I have is a Merriam-Webster's dictionary and thesaurus. But this could be different for each writer. It's just just make sure that when you're writing, you know what you want to say, and just make sure that you're using the words correctly, because sentence structure is also important in writing. Because if you don't know what you're doing, and while it is good to write the sentence down, just revise it and edit it, and that's also important. And just have people to look at your work and see if you need to work on anything else, and just make sure that I am sorry. My voice is dying a little bit more because I'm not really used to talking this much. But anyway, the like I've said, you just need to pace yourself, and you just need to make sure. Well, and you just need to make sure to pace yourself. For this, what I'm doing right now is that it was it is Saturday when I'm filming this, which is essentially yesterday, and it's I my church has services on Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday. That way, people can come to service whenever they need to, or whenever they have time. And usually, it's like around an hour and 30 minutes, but sometimes my my home pastor likes to go on tangents and all that, and it's fun. At least for me, it is. While yes, I am. Yes, I am a Christian, and yes, I am trying to get better at reading the Bible. And if you don't want to watch my, if you don't want to watch my videos, it's okay. I do understand that not many people feel as I do about church, but the one that I come from, it's the one that I come from taught me to be empathetic regardless of what religion, or taught me to love others, because that's what Jesus did, and I try to embody what he does, and which is partially the reason why I'm making this series, is because I want people not to be so alone in this journey. Because some writers, they do give you like tools and all that, but you also have to put in the work in order to be a writer, or be whatever it is that you want. And and I do hope that I can get better, and as as the day as the years roll by. So, and I hope you won't hold it against me that I'm Christian, and I hope that whatever advice that you get from me will be helpful, and I hope that this series will help you. And I don't, and some of the, and I do hope that you I do hope that you'll just, I will welcome criticism, but as long as it's like constructive criticism. I don't really like bullying it, because I have seen bullies and I really do not like it. So I am, wow, that was a lot to, I do apologize if this was a lot of information, and I do apologize if me saying I'm a Christian makes you feel uncomfortable. I do apologize for that. If you want, I don't really mind if you do this, but you can unsubscribe if that is completely up to. I do apologize for my voice, because I have been recording for a little bit, and I've been using CapCut. I am so sorry. I keep butchering names. But if you want to, with what I do with service, I write what's important, or what I take from the service, and I try to write as many verses that he mentions, or the ones that I feel are relevant to my growth. Like, and I don't completely write the verse down. I just write where it is, and then I go into my Bible, and then I just go. Oh my goodness! I am sorry. I had to crack my neck for a second. And I think I'm starting to develop a headache, but I am so sorry. If what I usually do was when I go to service is that I have a notebook that says group, subject, and date. That way, I can keep track of who I'm with and what the subject is about and at what time did I actually go. Uh, the serv During the service, I usually write the verse, and at the end of the service, I just write down the complete verse, and I actually make room for it. That way, I can fit it all in. The one thing that I do warn other Christians or other people about is that, as far as I know, our religion has false witnesses that will say that they're Christian. So I don't know if I am that, but use your own discernment and judgment on that. So I don't want to be called that, but if I am a false witness, I do apologize for that. So people who are actually they do in the Christian community, we have like the term says, false witness is essentially someone who doesn't preach what the gospel is supposed to be about or what the Bible is supposed to say. I am sorry, my voice is dying, but I feel like this is important. In our religion, the term false witness means that essentially means that someone who isn't preaching what God wanted to be preached, or doesn't want to preach what the gospel is trying to convey. Because I have heard that there are like gay Bibles, but that is a false witness. And I am sorry, but it's just gay Bibles are not real Bibles. And I've heard that basically being a trans woman or man is basically, I have heard, and don't, well, you're probably going to crucify me anyway, but I think that being trans is essentially a form of self-harm. Because if you think about it, being trans means that you have to essentially kill your previous identity. And in a way, I do feel bad for the trans community. I do feel bad for them, and I do hope that they can come to God if they want to. That is up to them. But I do hope that they get help or find some way to love themselves. Because I have hated parts of myself, and it's not really a good thing. Like, I have hated the color of my skin. I've hated, I didn't like pimples on my face. And yes, I have. Every woman or every girl and boy has had pimples. So if they said that they haven't had pimples or haven't been stressed out, they're just lying to you. They're just lying to you. But everyone feels like some sort of pain, and I think the reason why I hated my skin is because it's white, and I am Latino. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I used the wrong term. I am Latina. I am Latina, and people always assume that I'm white. Oh geez, I am shaking. I guess it's because I'm exposing myself right now as a Christian. But But it's okay. I'm Latina, and and I do love being an American, and I do love my skin, and I do love myself, and it's important to do that. It's always important to do that. But I'll talk to you later, so see ya.